Denise Hammond is one of the organizers behind the Toronto March, and that is where she is right now, just outside of Toronto City Hall. So Denise, thank you for joining us today. Why did you think it was important to organize a rally in Toronto?
Well, we heard from women all across the city about their concern of the president election, but we also heard clearly from them about the need to have something local. So the march here in Toronto was in solidarity with all the events that are happening in Washington and around the world, but we wanted to talk about local issues and gender justice and to bring that home, to talk about racism and colonialism, to talk about homophobia, to talk about sexism, and to talk about the violence that's happening right here in our city and how there's an interconnection between all of us. And I have to say, it's been a phenomenal turnout today. It's way more than we ever expected. We had 10 organizers that came together about a month ago. Many of us didn't actually know each other, and it was a sort of this ad hoc group where we said, we cannot let this inauguration of this president go by without having some form of resistance. And as you can see here today in Toronto, people have really stepped up and joined us and said, absolutely, we will say no to hate and yes to justice.
Now, when you were helping organize this, what was your hope in terms of numbers of people showing up?
You know, we thought a couple of thousand people would be able to come together. It's just been overwhelming, the response that we've had. We've had over 11,000 people just on our Facebook group alone. We had 250 people respond immediately to say, I want to volunteer. I want to be part of this historic moment and say that we can speak out. And just, you know, a sheer number of my own count, I've been able to say we have well over more than 60,000 people. We initially thought that we would end at 2 p.m. today, and our speakers are continuing. People are just in a community festival to say no to hate, and yes, this is about community, and we can make a difference together.
Now, I know you referenced some of it right off top there, but I want you to explain to Canadians who are watching this, who are wondering why Canadians are coming together when we're talking about an American president.
Well, first and foremost, you know, when you have someone who is elected to the American president's office, that is a tremendous amount of power. And that individual will make policies. And quite frankly, we've already seen the amount of hate, the amount of normalization of sexism and making fun at sexual assault. That has an impact on people in our own city. We've heard from racialized women. We've heard from Muslim women about the attacks that they have seen. But we also know that there's an interconnection, and that is with trade, the trade policies. There's an interconnection between public policy and things that get funded, like our public services. And we are really hoping to move forward and to talk about the importance of a living wage of $15 an hour, to talk about the importance of public funding and affordable childcare, to talk about transit, and to talk about addressing and dealing with the anti-Black racism that is plaguing our city. And so when we look to south of the border, if there are things that are happening there, it creates this opening of hate to happen here. And quite honestly, we wanted to say forcefully, collectively, together in one loud voice that we would not stand by. We are willing to resist and speak up for gender justice.
And that is a message not only to the U.S. president, but also to Canadian leaders.
Absolutely. We actually just had an action here at City Hall. Kristen Wong-Tam, one of the city councillors, talked to the people that are at our rally about what's happening with the Toronto budget. And we've asked everyone to send a message in Toronto to John Tory, the mayor, that, you know, come 2018, we will be following him to the ballot box. We will be organizing, and we are demanding funding and public funding for our services and a city budget that actually addresses the gender justice in the city. It's a really important issue that is so multi-layered and talking about the different forms of oppression. And I'm happy to be here. It's a historic moment. It's liberating, it's empowering, and I just hope that today is only the beginning of what will come.